much for joining us today on my Power Day. To each and every one of you guys. First of all, salutations to my Madrina, to my Padrino, to my Oba, and to all of my brothers and sisters in Ifa, Voodoo, Santeria, Lakumi, Congo, Palo, Mystic, and Ajax. If this is your first time in my live, my name is Chief Apostle Samuel Jr. I am the apostle and pastor of Apostolic Faith of Jesus Christ Incorporated, and my beliefs are deeply rooted in the ATRs. Those are the African traditional religions by which we harness, direct, and disperse energy, frequency, and vibration. We teach here on this platform for melanated people universal laws because universal laws apply to each and every person. One of you think, what's up, my baby Scorpio? Thank you for joining us on today on my day of power. This would have been such a good day. Y'all gonna really enjoy this. If you have been endeavoring to try to learn what real magic is, frequency and vibration, this is the day to be here on tonight. What's up there, Mama Susan in the house, Gemini? Then we got Apollo, blessing unto thee. Let me tell you something. This is gonna be more intermediate advanced. It's gonna be somewhere in between tonight on my day of power. What's up, Demetrius, my Gemini? I want to say hello to all my Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Aquarius, Cancer, Capricorn, Leo, Sagittarius, Scorpio, Libra, and Virgo. Hello to each and every one. What's up there, my Ryan? Cardinal Air in the house. That's what I'm talking about. Venus is your star. I appreciate each and every one. My 69. I'm so proud of you. Everybody in their own way is stepping up and they're being more aggressive about the things they want and desire, and I absolutely love that. Giving me opportunity in different ways to actually give you some more of my services and for you to be able to advance your spirituality on a whole nother level. My melanated people. I told you I'm down for my people. I want to talk about tonight something that the church world, out of ignorance, have said. Thank you as you come in. Please hit that like button. As this church world has come in and gotten away from the actual spiritually discerning the Bible and teaching things that you've probably heard, but you have not heard them in the context that I'm going to teach it and explain it. Everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. And when it came to Kemet and Egyptology, a lot of that information was taken and placed in the Bible, but it was being deciphered by people that did not understand our magic, our spirituality, our conjure. And so a lot of times when you hear things, you heard it in reverse or you heard it out of context because it was not their sciences, it wasn't their knowledge, or the reason they didn't understand. And that, let me help you to this. When you're really trying to practice melanated magic, black magic, you have to understand that somebody that does not have dominant genes cannot tell you about dominance. Somebody has receptive genes can tell you about being parasitic. So their magic is very, very different from our magic. And it's all energy, frequency, and vibration, but it is assimilated, it is harnessed, it is developed very, very different. We are strengthened by the sun, they are burned by the sun. Okay? We are natural to this world, and they are unnatural. So that everybody got to behave based off of their original design. Okay? So I want to kind of, especially going into this psych class, I don't want to catch nobody off guard. So I'm trying to elevate everybody to a place where they at least have some information. And so therefore when I teach these psychic classes and these conjure classes on different levels, you won't get lost in the sauce. So that is my method to my matter. Thank you for saying that our magic is different from theirs. I've been screaming it for years. Say it loud. The reason why that if you're not melanated conscious and you're trying to appease non-melanated people, it's very hard for you to be vocal about our Che. Like I said, and I said this again, for whatever reason, the ATRs have become popular, trendy. I was in conjure and doing conjure when conjure was not cool. It wasn't trendy. It wasn't popular. It was real magic. It was real power, and people benefited from that power, but they also shunned that power. They demonized that power, and that's why I want to get into this Bible so you can have a better understanding of energy, frequency, and vibration. Remember, things represented an energy, a vibration, and a frequency. Okay. My subject is the power of sulfur, the soul. So this is alchemy, okay, and I have to explain it through alchemy, so you'll understand it, how it reflects in the Bible. Because if I don't start here with sulfur, you're gonna miss it. So I want you to understand on the periodic table, Egypt, every one of those African deities represented a form of energy, a form of a mineral, or some aspect of energy, frequency, and vibration. They were scientists. Egypt was full of scientists. And what a lot of melanated people don't know, what's up, my love, that science and magic was hand in hand. The way that African people practiced magic, it was scientific. So a lot of things represented certain minerals or certain metals, certain aspects of energy. And Kemet was no different. Actually, Kemet was very good at, and that's why you hear me say African sciences, because real magic and melanated magic is derived out of a scientific mind, and putting carbon and these neutrons and protons and electrons together. So I don't want to lose nobody. So I'm going to start with Isaiah 14 and 12. What's up, my Boaz? Pisces in the house. I got my Taurus came in, and then I got my Pisces. So, and I'm going to give some backdrop stories. This is why black people, and when there's hoodoo, you've seen them work with a lot of sulfur. I'm going to explain that. And you saw them putting sulfur down. A lot of people did not know how to work sulfur and what sulfur really does, and why it had such a demonic label. So I'm going to explain that as well. Isaiah 14 and 12. It says this: how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? Remember, we talk about stars. I taught about manifesting through the stars of heaven. So Lucifer was a star. Remember, asteroid, any star or asteroid that falls from heaven is an asteroid or comet, and it merges with the Earth. Extraterrestrial emerges with the Earth. Terrestrial. Okay, let's keep that simple. It said, "O Lucifer, son of the morning, how art thou cut down to the ground, which did it weaken the nations?" So, Lucifer in translation is the shining one or the light bearer, which is talking about sulfur. Sulfur is a volatile energy, and when misused, it can weaken your soul. It can weaken the magic of another conjurer, mystic or agent, because we are comprised of sulfur. Our soul is. Our soul is yang energy and solar energy and a fire element. This is why this is why when your crown is illuminated, you see pictures of old where you see a halo or a light around the crown or the ori, or whatever we call it to this day. And the reason why that is done is to depict the soul, which is the light of God, a living entity, right? A living consciousness, which is your soul is made out of sulfur. Yes, I'm trying to link all this so when we go into the psychic class, you can connect the dots. So this is why Lucifer and Christ was called the morning star, because they're both enlightenments. The enlightenment of Christ is the pineal gland. The enlightenment of Lucifer is the soul. They're both enlightenments. You can get enlightenment through your pineal gland, which is your Christ consciousness, and then you can be enlightened through your soul. It was all representation of different aspects of melanated people. It was a science that we use hieroglyphics, we use emblems of different nectars to represent certain energies, frequency and vibration. But the reason why it is depicted as evil, because we hear about fire and brimstone. Well, sulfur is essential. I'm ready to read it. Sulfur is a component of amino acids that are the building blocks of protein, essential for plant growth and development. So sulfur develops plants. Guess who else is styled as a tree? Us. We have the same setup when it comes to our spirituality. This is why the hoodooists and the voodooists, they work with sulfur, and to weaken the magic or to weaken the energy or weaken the soul of a man or woman. This is why I told you when we were talking about silver that if somebody is working sulfur against you and you have on silver, it's going to turn black. That's why you know they're working some heavy magic to weaken your soul. And my whoop ass has an element of sulfur. This is why sulfur soap was used so abundantly about even every aspect of melanated people. But we got got out of a lot of that. The sulfur 8 soap not soap, but grease that black people used to use in their head, but they got so agitated with other people talking about what they were using and the smell of it. I don't know why you would have a black people have gotten away from things that empowered us, grew our hair. Sulfur is good for your skin, for your nails, all of that, because it is a essential component of the soul. And if used in a negative connotation, you can actually weaken. That's right. I use Sulfur 8 shampoo. Sulfur is very good for melanated people. Sulfur is it's yin. It's not. I mean, I take that back. It's yang. Meaning is a masculine energy. It's solar energy. It's ruled by the sun and it's ruled by Mars. And it's a fire element. It is a very volatile, vital. Oh my God, it's so late. It's very explosive and volatile. Sorry. And mineral, and when utilized for magical purposes, it can absorb negative or harmful energy of all kinds and remove barriers to progress. So black people used to use sulfur to get rid of a lot of stuff, burning sulfur in their house, but they burnt a light amount of sulfur because of the smell. But it is used in exorcism. This is why melanated people, we use garlic. Garlic has sulfur in it. We use onion. Onion has sulfur in it. So there's different things that people did conjure with because they understood what was inside of those vegetables. And they knew what it can do. That's why they tell you that onions can remove sickness out of the body. It's sulfur that's in onions. That's the active ingredient. And when we use things that are highly enriched with sulfur, we use it in forms of banishing and removing blockages. It's that if you use too much of sulfur, it can also affect your energy. This is why I was saying, only way I can connect it to the Bible, I got to let you understand what its element is. And when you don't really understand chemistry and you don't understand alchemy, you can actually hurt yourself working with sulfur if you use too much. And you're not going to know what's too much until you use too much. Let me see. Sulfur is used for transformation and purification. It is used to promote vitality, creativity, and enlightenment. So this is why your soul was created with sulfur. And when you understand how vital sulfur is to your well-being, and you know why it strengthens your energy, when sulfur is used in a negative way, it damages the soul. End of story. Anything with high sulfur content can eat through pretty much any barrier. The reason why people were placing sulfur around their house, because they wanted to put a barrier between them. You know, you set your intention, but sulfur is used like red brick dust. Me personally, I don't like putting anything on the ground like salt or sulfur because it absorbs the negativity in the ground. And I don't like that concept. I'd rather put sulfur or salt in a glass and place it at the four corners outside my house or inside my the corners of my house, because once it absorbs the negativity, I want to get rid of it. Like, that's why you got to have an understanding of the element that you're working with, what it has the capability of doing. Now, if you're going to light sulfur, remember it's volatile, meaning it can explode. The same thing when you're working with saltpeter, because I'm going to go through some elements so you have a better understanding why certain things are done and why certain things are utilized, and why you need to actually understand the scientific appropriation of certain elements. Because if you put the wrong amount of sulfur in something, it might not be strong enough. And if you put too much sulfur in it, then it can be explosive and it'll blow up on you. Yeah. I have a crystal. I don't know where I put it, but it has sulfur content in it. It's actually called a sulfur crystal. Because I understand how to utilize that energy. One of the things that I want to melanated people to get away from is demonizing. Thank you for your likes. Demonizing these energies. And when you speak against sulfur and fire and brimstone, they're really talking about us. When they're talking about fallen stars or fallen souls, fallen is the same connotation as ascending and descending. When angels were, because it just sounds better when you say an angel descended on earth versus fallen angel or fallen souls. It sounds like, what's up, my Sagittarius? She at work getting that fettuccine. It sounds like to black people that you fell out of grace. So if I say I descended from heaven, like the Holy Spirit descended out of heaven upon the shoulders of Yahshua and in the form of a dove, it sounds better than saying the Spirit fell from heaven. I had somebody, one of my saints, Sister Shirley, and I had never heard this term. She said, "Oh, Apostle, I fell out the Spirit." I was like, I get what she was trying to say, but I laughed because that was a weird way of trying to describe what happened. And to use certain terminology, you got to remember, Anglo-Saxon, non-melanated people were trying to describe what they were seeing out of melanated people. And they had to come up according their own terms regarding our magic, our energy. So a lot of things that you read in the Bible was placed in by people that did not understand. And they did not know how to relate what was was really manifesting in the cosmos. I never heard that. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to black people, they tickle me. The things that they, out of ignorance, that they can say, and they be so passionate and so serious. But sulfur is an ingredient that is a mineral, and that we utilize that mineral in conjure. And we use it to clean people. We use it to purify. But sulfur is denoted as demonic. And I want you to know why they are calling us demons. And black people also use that same terminology, and it's very offensive to your soul. See, I don't know if you understand that you're speaking against your enlightenment. You're speaking against your living essence. You're demonizing your own essence. I want you to really realize that when you get on the bandwagon of colonizing, you hear people talking about colonize, that means that they were victorious over you and they have renamed your magic. And for you to assimilate that same verbiage is a disrespect to your own soul. But to capitalize on the understanding of enlightenment. And so that when you light sulfur, you ignite this mineral and it gives off a fire, a volatile fire. But that's what the soul is. And the soul is an ebasa. The soul is enlightened by the Kundalini energy. This is the energy that is in your root chakra or your base of your Merkaba or your temple. It is what connects the ancestors. So this part of your soul that connects you to the earth plane, when that Kundalini energy or that fire or that serpent energy comes up the spine or climbs Jacob's ladder, climbs your vertebrae, and that energy hits your head, it starts to enlighten and it opens your eye. And that's when you see the scripture says, when your eye is full, if your eye has light, then your whole body has light. That means that that light energy has traveled all the way up through your tabernacle. Every aspect of your house is lit. And this is where you get a lot of your firepower through sulfur. Your magic hit different when you use sulfur. I just told some secret. I mean, it's hoodoo. I ain't telling ATRs. But I want you to have a better understanding. The reason why your magic and I know, black people, when they get information, they're going to start, let me tell you something. Don't just hear knowledge. Get clarity. Don't just start putting stuff together. Because when you damage your energy of your soul, it takes something to restore your soul. Just like David said, Lord, restore my soul, restore the light. You can do a lot of damage to your own self, not knowing how to handle sulfur. It can eat away barriers, which means it can eat away your protection if you don't know what you're doing. And half of these people on this live and half of these people that watch this video do not know what they're doing. Just because you can pronounce sulfur, it doesn't mean you understand the science behind sulfur. Just like some of y'all think y'all can cook. And y'all have no idea of how much ingredients you need to have in that cake or that cookies or that seasoning. We just throw this in there and throw that in there and sprinkle that and call it a meal. Well, people doing the same thing with magic. It's good to know what sulfur is and how it is depicted in the periodic table. Also how it's depicted on the inside of you as a microcosm of the universe. And this is an essential ingredient for your growth and for your development. There are certain other things that I'm going to teach, but I have to wait till you guys get in at least the intermediate classes. I'm very limited because I got a lot of immature people out there. So I have to be responsible. But I think I shared enough tonight to help you understand how transformative sulfur is, how it is used to purify the soul, how it is has the ability to give vitality or nutrients to the soul, creativity to the soul, and enlightenment to the soul. Um, this is really intermediate advanced stuff. But I wanted to tie it with the Bible. I want you to know why God rained down fire and brimstone and why it was a symbology of weakening that city. The reason why black people missed it because we are a city set up on a hill. We have enough energy to electrically light up a whole city. These symbologies in the Bible, they were talking about us. And the symbology of Sodom and Gomorrah was they being purified. Salt is a purifier. Remember Lot's wife turned into salt? Salt is a purifier. It's representation of purified, cleaning the desires. When something is sick, when something is beneath the standard of what it was designed for, you use sulfur to restore that soul, to restore enlightenment to that soul, and restore transformation to that soul, and to remove anything that has tarnished that soul. This is why I say oftentimes that your energy is the most valuable thing that you have on this earth plane. Your soul communicates with all your spirits. This is why I'm pushing so hard for melanated people to get these parasite candles. Because in order to get the proper message, you can't have no interference on the inside. There's a purification that has to take place. There's a restoring of the soul that has to take place, but not before the parasites are removed. This is way deeper, and I think I might be saying too much, but I want to connect the Bible, the whole aspect that Lucifer and Christ are both called the son of the morning star, the enlightenment. Stars carry light. We are stars. And so therefore our stars are made of certain minerals. Like certain asteroids have nickel in it. Certain asteroids have phosphorate or certain things in them. And because we represent a microcosm of the universe, we also can influence these energies. I got some hard head saints because I'm feeling trouble already in my soul. When you go out and pretend to be a scientist and pretend to be a conjurer, and you really don't, you take my teachings and you make them into what you want them to be, it's just like the colonizer. You turned our magic into something that is not. You transform our magic and our sciences into something that's not. If you're not in a place, you should not be handling volatile material. Another volatile material is gunpowder. In Palo we call it fula. You should never handle something that you're not in control or you ain't in mastery of, because it can also work for you or against you, just like a gun. Oh, Apostle said, my soul is made of sulfur, so I'm a you. I did say that. But I ain't tell you to go out and practice that. I'm letting you straight up know this is high magic and this alchemy. This is borderline intermediate, but it's definitely advanced. But the only way that I can associate this with the Bible is to break down the enlightenment. And when you're talking about Christ, it's enlightenment, the pineal gland, the opening of third eye, the Christ consciousness. And then when you're talking about the soul, you're talking about sulfur. You're talking about Lucifer. This is why Lucifer was considered rebelling against God or rebelling against the soul. Because sulfur has the ability to break down walls, to eat through certain things. And that's why we use it in certain areas of conjure, hoodoo, and voodoo, even in Palo. Because one of the elements of gunpowder is sulfur. It's in it's all through our life. It ain't something you doing without. If you got a deficiency in sulfur, you gonna know. But melanated people used to use sulfur a lot. I don't see it being used that much. I think that people did not pass those recipes on. And a lot of people that are doing stuff now, they don't really know why those certain things were utilized. And so therefore, you don't keep what you don't think is relevant. But this is all science. Science and magic go hand in hand. And if you are struggling with science, then you're going to struggle with magic. If you're going to struggle with math, you're going to struggle with magic. Because that's energy, frequency, and vibration. And you got to know how to regulate that energy on certain levels of frequency. This is why I told you I attack things from the physical, the astral, and the spiritual. A lot of y'all be trying to get y'all healing and y'all health and through herbs, and you ain't awakening these herbs. And you get some of the nutrients out of the herb. But imagine if you had that blessed by a conjure man or conjure woman, and now you got energy on the astral level as well as the spiritual level, and you cleaning your body, your spiritual body and your astral body at the same time that you healing your physical body. We got to become more smarter, and I want you to understand why I'm making certain things available and why I'm pushing certain things. When I suggest something, because I ain't gonna tell none of y'all what to do, but I want you to understand why it's essential. When you hear the word essential, means you got to have that. Sulfur, you got to have that. When people are working against you, this is why we use silver to detect. Now, silver was in the movies was considered werewolves. To kill a werewolf would be use a silver bullet, right? But our culture was really talking about utilizing silver or colloidal silver to kill parasites or free radicals. They just made it out of monster, but it really was how we kept ourselves clean with certain metals, copper, silver, gold. We knew the alchemy behind that. We knew the. What's up, my Natasha Foster, my Aquarius from North Carolina? Aphrodisiac. I'm still talking about alchemy. You struggle because you don't want to learn and sit up under anybody to actually become perfected in the energy. And this is why I say about self-discipline. Conjure spirituality is a lifestyle. The benefits of lighting incense, you will understand if you respected the astral world. You will understand how it goes, how it helps people, whether they conscious or not conscious. When you burn that incense and you have certain elements in that incense, it causes a certain condition to set in over their life. I like when my baby Scorpio say, I need you to light this for my baby, my Taurus. That all this is going to help her energetically. And if you stop something on the astral plane, it cannot manifest on the physical plane. Imagine how if you put your spirit first, then it wouldn't even get to the astral plane, because you would combat it, defeat it on the spiritual plane. But if you can't get it, if you're not that connected, then you need to use your emotional body, which is your lunar energy, your moon sign, to combat on the astral plane. All this is significant to your survival on this earth plane. And I want to break it down where you have a better understanding why certain things are significant. Would burning guardian angels feed the soul, especially after we are purging? The guardian angel incense feeds your spirit, not your soul. You can feed your soul through your ancestor incense. But your guardian angel is your spirit body. That's all of my guardian incense has extraterrestrial energy in it. And so therefore it affects your spirit man. It strengthens your spirit man. And then if you learn how to use your spirit body, you can intercept a lot of things that people try to send to you on the astral plane from the spirit. This is why I'm trying to get black people to start dealing with their inner world. Because if you start understanding your inner world, you will understand that this is the most dense or heavy that you can be with a physical body. This is why you hear people say or preach about Jesus gave up the ghost or the spirit. The level of if you ever astral travel or your spirit ever left your body, because it's different when your spirit leaving your body and your soul. It's not the same. People teach it like it's the same, but it really isn't. It's a different aspect of you. It's still you, but a different aspect of you. But you will notice some people, depending on how developed they are, they can fly. They fly in their dreams. That denotes that their spirit is free to travel. There are some spirits that can walk through walls. There's some spirits that can't walk through walls. There's some spirits that are hindered. That's why you hear people saying, put out blue bottles or this, because spirits get distracted by shiny things. Or it's really lights. It's really light spectrum that attracts them. So when you understand the light spectrum of my Pedicum Oya, then you understand why we use different colors for candles or different colors for cloth or whatever we're using as a representation of that particular wavelength or frequency. I don't want to get nerdy on y'all, but that's the reason why it is done, and why you and like a lot of you guys are very consistent with your incense burns. You very consistent with your conjure, and this what keeps you in the driving seat. Eventually, melanated people are going to put God first. We got a lot of work to do. Clarity will breed understanding. And what I mean by that, a clear head, a clear mind will give you understanding why something has to be a certain type of way. I believe that if more people get clarity and then produce understanding, that then a lot of envy and jealousy that's among our spiritual community will stop, because we wouldn't understand why certain people are essential. We need our earth signs. We need our air signs. We need our water signs. We need our fire signs. You can't have this attitude that you can do without these elements. All of these elements help you to develop your person, your spiritual person, your spiritual house. And without them, you can only do so much on your own. If I teach you what's essential and why it's relative in your life, whether you in E5, Voodoo, Santeria, whether you doing love magic, whether you doing money magic or conjure, or you getting that work done for you, you will be able to embrace and get more of an impact. I stress about 13 circles because black people, melanated people, you got to show them better you can tell them. I don't think anybody think I'm lying. But you also ain't becoming a part. I can't do the 13th circle without 13 people. If you knew what was going to happen for your life in the 13th circle, maybe you'll be more apt to. I think I could go out my way trying to explain in different ways where you can find these things relevant. I don't know that it feels like sometimes that black people need a house to fall on them for them to get it. To get where you're trying to get, you need certain ceremonies done for you. Since you ain't trying to get initiated, then you need to get into certain circles where you can see or get an impact of energy, frequency, and vibration. You're never going to conjure on my level. You don't have access to the 9 realms. You might have 2. You might have 3. You might have 1. I have access to all 9. It's only $1,000. If you really got work done for a real voodoo, Haitian voodoo practitioner, you will be out of a lot of tens of thousands. And they might not do it at the level I'm doing. And that's what is actually an insult sometimes with black people, especially if they came up in the church, because you think you're giving something and you're really not. I am making this cost affordable because I don't want you to have an excuse. I hope that when you get blessed, that you bless the man of God, because I'm sacrificing to do what I'm doing. It's like when you don't really know what something costs and what somebody got to go through to help you, you don't really value it. I ain't gonna get on that soapbox. I appreciate your support, but I need you to understand, it's certain things I can't do it for anything less. I'll be disrespecting myself and my spirits. It just that I have been going gung-ho for melanated people in this platform and helping people grow And if you don't see the necessity in supporting this and being a part of this, not just in word but in deed only, it has nothing to say about me. It has all to say about you. And this is why certain things don't connect, because you have to understand these spirits see all of this. It doesn't matter if I see it or not. I'm just say, for instance, I don't see it. The spirits that you want to work for you, they see it. And then when they see it, they determine how far I'm going to be able to go. If I'm not going to be able to go at all. So I hope you understand how all this is connected. If certain people, if I felt any hesitation, I wouldn't do certain work. I wouldn't offer certain things. Because if I go against the hesitation, it ain't gonna work anyway. Because they are the ones that bring my work to pass. They the one bring my word to pass. They the one answer my prayers. They the one fulfill my desires. Sometimes I do it myself, but when it comes to my work, I work my spirits, because they elevate. The more work they do, the more they elevate. So, and that same thing, the more you work your ancestors, the more they elevate. The more you participate in certain types of energy, the stronger they get. And you want them to get stronger or a higher vibration, because when you pass, you will be in a higher state in the spirit world. Instead of being a reincarnated soul, keep coming back here and keep coming back here. All right. I hope this really helped. I hope that thank you for all the likes and shares. I hope that the support of my tribe and my members becomes stronger, because you see how essential this is, and that there are certain things coming down the pipeline that I said way ahead of time, and we need to be as prepared as possible. But I can't do your work for you. You got to pay your way, and you're not sacrificing like I am. I promise y'all, you're not giving me this Haitian voodoo and Ocha. It costs. All the other ATR, they cost too. But this in particular, you so welcome. Thank you so much. Said, thank you, Apostle. Always a timely message. On target for melanated people. Get your spot and in the psychic class, so we can get it popping. If you haven't gotten the conjure class, you can still get that class, and I'll send you the link for that class. I'm gonna put 2 and 2 together, but I'm gonna always caution y'all. Y'all grown. What you do with your Ache is your business. As long as I do my part and teach and explain to you the pros and the cons, what you do with that information, that's your business. I can't, that ain't my job to police your life. That ain't my job. Pastor, yeah. But police, no. All right. I love y'all. Thank you so much. And if this video helped you all out, please comment behind these videos. It helps the algorithm. It helps produce and make this channel searchable even more. Please, I can't do it by myself. Like a good orgy, everybody need to participate. We don't look. In no orgy I have been. I don't like people that stand on the wall. If I go to a party, don't stand on the wall. Participate. This is not the time to spectate. All this good action going on here, get you a handful of it. All right? Love y'all. Peace.